Welcome to Bass University Live, everybody. Good to have you with us, as always, on Tuesdays. Love doing this show, especially when we have fun guests like we're going to have today. Good friend of the show, friend of Bass University forever and ever. Our buddy Luke Duncan's going to be with us today.
Yeah, Luke's always a fun conversation, and there's a lot going on in the sport of fishing right now, and Luke is very involved in all of it from a lot of different aspects. So he's going to bring some great insight for sure.
Yep. There's always still a lot of drama. That's the nature of the sport right now, and of course Luke is dialed in on it, and he is the MC extraordinary over there, the commentator at the NPFL, and look forward to diving into to all that stuff and talking about. I really want to talk about some of the winning ways that he saw this year, because things are changing. Forward-facing sonar has dominated a lot of the major trails. Has it dominated over there too? Let's see what's happening over there. Been so busy at Bash U. My goodness, we've got our classes lined up, and we are listing a lot of our speakers are going to be up on our site probably within the next 24 hours. So if you've been waiting to see the speaker list for our classes, it's coming your way. We may have it as early as this afternoon. We'll at least who we have. We still have a few speakers that we have yet to get finalized, and we'll have all that done here real soon. And some of the notable ones are Ike is going to be in Shreveport with us this year, and Gerald Swindle's back with us in the classroom. We've worked with him on the water in the most recent times, but I really love having Gerald in the classroom. He's going to be in Gadsden, Alabama. And Ben Milliken, friend of ours, friend of the show, is made it to the elites. Won a Open this year. Really excited to have him with us in Athens, Texas this year. And look for all the rest of the speakers to be announced here shortly as we get in touch with everybody as we get into the fall. And we've got our Black Friday specials going on.
Yes,
it's in the classroom, and if you can't make it to the class, you can check out Bash U TV. We've got a great Black Friday holiday promotion happening over at Bash U TV, and of course our classroom tickets are. It's really cool. It's a 10% off right now over there at Bash U. For our tickets, for all of our tickets. Makes a great gift. Tell your girlfriend, tell your wife that's what you want. They will get it for you, I promise. They're always looking for a good gift to give to their man that loves fishing. So check it out. Of course, we love the ladies that come too, and we get more and more of those every year. But go to thebashuniversity.com to get tickets. Go over to bashu.tv, and it's a special $99 annual deal going on with a really awesome $50 Tackle Direct coupon for subscribers. So check all that stuff out. We've got a great set of prizes, as we always do for every show. If you're watching over on Facebook, like and share the feed. We've got a gift for you guys, and we have a grand prize. So pay attention. You guys are getting good. Here's how our grand prize question is going to work from now on. We are writing the question on the IM board at bashu.tv.
Carrier pigeon.
Yes. So everybody gets that question at the same time, and the first one to get the correct answer will win the prize. What are we giving away today, Rich?
Yeah, today for the grand prize, we're going to be giving away a Lakewood custom tackle bag. I actually have one here on the table, and we're going to be giving away some missile baits as well. These tackle packs are really cool. They're lightweight, and they're like a coated mesh, and it's breathable. You don't get that moisture build up in your stuff. And we're going to be filling that bad boy up with some missile baits. So that's going to be the grand prize. And then the Facebook like and share is going to be a sweet Minn Kota hat. This is like my favorite Minn Kota hat to wear of all time because it's a soft hat. I like soft hats, and this one's money. And with that hat, you're also going to get some Cortland line master braid to spool up those spinning reels, those bait casters, whatever you want to use it for. So that'll be the Facebook like and share. And stay tuned. We're going to be asking a question, like Pete said, at the end of the show. That was something that we talked about today. So you got to stay locked in, sharpen those pencils, get ready. And if you're on the Bash U TV program and you're with us, and you you know what's coming down the pipe. But for those of you that aren't, I'm going to spill the beans just a little bit. This week, we're releasing John Hunter dock fishing in the fall. That was a really cool seminar. Different approaches that you can take to fishing docks in the different kind of docks. Not all docks are the same. And John really broke down how to approach each one of those types of habitat and his methods that he uses to catch those fish. And then our classroom release, this is a good one. Hold on. Chad Pipkin's Finding Sweet Spots. Okay. What is a sweet spot? Some may know, some may not know. Well, guess what? Chad's going to break all that down for you. And Chad, he is a sneaky good grass fishing guy. And that's something that really stood out to me about this seminar. And he's also a sneaky good guy on our body water, Pete, on the Chesapeake. He always seems to find those little sweet spots, those little pods that hold fish. And in this seminar, we have mapping images to kind of show you what he's talking about. And he really breaks down where to look, what to look for, and what to do once you find them. So that's a really good seminar coming out, and should be really exciting.
Did you study your Bass University this week? I'm watching you guys. And I just wanted to bring this to your attention, guys. If you guys are flipping the D-Bomb, this is a special rusty crawl color, exclusive only to Tackle Direct. It's only there. So if you are like a lot of guys, like flipping your heavy cover with this bait, this is a color that the fish in your area haven't seen. It's only available at Tackle Direct, so go check it out. We had it made custom. The carpet,
shout out to BTC. He's the one that
designed
concocted that.
Yeah. And you guys are active as always. You guys come off a big win last weekend and got a little tougher this weekend.
Yeah, got a little tougher on us this weekend, Pete. The water temps on the bay dropped like 10 degrees in I think like 3 days.
Yeah.
You know, we had a few of those really cold nights, and you know, we still put together a decent day. It was tougher than the week before. The week before when we won, it took almost 25 pounds. This week, it only took 19 to win, and it took it took 17 to get paid. And we had 14, so we were scratching kind of right where we needed to be. And you know, I mean, Justin, you can chime in as well. We just never really got the bite feedback this week.
No,
we had to kind of just scratch and junk around, and you know, they never sent us down the path. So
yeah, we never got those like key bites to dial us in on what's going on. You know what I mean? It was we were all over the place.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it's tough to win on the bay. I mean,
it's tough to do it 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, you got to catch. There's so many big fish available that you've got to get those big ones.
Yeah.
And it's tough to do. You guys are, but you keep knocking at the door like you always do, and you'll get another dub. So good job. Way to battle this weekend with some tougher conditions. And I know conditions are changing all over the country. We're seeing guys that love to fish the fall. I see so many guys breaking out their buzz baits this time of year. It's really cool to see, especially in a lot of the reservoirs. The shad are moving, and what a great time to be throwing top water. So get out of the tree stand, for crying out loud, and get out and do some fishing with the rest of us.
That's right.
Guys, we have a really great person, great guest. Luke Duncan is going to be with us from the NPFL, from Low Budget Live. And what I got a finger pointing over here. We
got some guys on the board already.
Shout out
guys.
Some of the guys watching. We got Howie Range as usual, Nick Mayberry, St. Cress, Lee C, Chuck Fish hanging out with us this morning.
Awesome. Love to see it.
Awesome. Hey, and we're by the way, guys, we're going to be live with another challenge next week. Look for that. We'll keep you guys posted. We're going to have an interesting live challenge out on the water somewhere. So anyway, Luke Duncan is going to be with us in just a few minutes. We're going to be talking about what's going on in the fishing world and how guys are winning tournaments these days. Looking forward to that. Well, he'll be with us right after this quick commercial break.
underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. AquaView. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love casting fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick. Every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
On the water, not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Cortland Line Master Braid, America's premium super braided fishing line. Manufactured in our Cortland, New York facility and constructed from the highest quality Spectra fibers available. Cortland Line Company, made in America since 1915.
I have to have the best eyewear.
My eyes are essential to doing my job.
It's the highest quality lens that I've ever used.
Top of the line performance in these glasses.
But they're priced for absolutely everyone. The everyday angler can afford them.
As a touring professional pro, if I can depend on them, I know the weekend angler can as well. Hobie eyewear, built for the pros.
Price for everyone.
Yes.
And we're back.
And we are back. Welcome back to live, everybody. I always miss the cue. Great show. Longtime friend of the show and Bass University instructor. The great Luke Duncan is with us today. Luke, how are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. It's good to be back. It's been a minute.
Yeah, it had. Well, you've been so busy, man. You're hard to get with these days.
Look, man, it shows in the beard these days. I'm very tired, especially now the season's over. I've got like a little bit of a 2-month break, and then it's right back into the frying pan again. But I'm grateful because I remember when the phone didn't ring, guys.
Yeah, well, good for you. And I know that's a year-round thing you're doing now with the NPFL. That's got you all over the. Do you do that from a studio? Do you travel around for that event?
Yeah. So we, in year one, we actually did it on location, and we found out that year that there's a reason that Bass and MLF do not do it on location. But technical issues and things tend to pop up. You get a lot of gremlins. It was more fun, I think, for Fat Cat and I to be in Dudley that year on site because you're at the weigh-ins and you're actually feeling the emotion of the guys and the stress and things. But now we're up in Wisconsin. We're in Appleton, Wisconsin, is where our fixed production studios are located. And so I think this was my 14th trip to Wisconsin this past weekend. So yeah, I've been up there several times. Appleton's like a home away from home, but it's a lot more. I hate not being on site, but I do enjoy being in studio and what we're able to bring by doing it that way.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, I completely understand. But now, you're going to have to take advantage of some ice fishing now that you're going up there all the time. Have you ever, are you going to do that?
Done. I'm out on all that. I don't care. Like, I mean, I see videos every now and then. There's like some guy sitting in a bunk bed fishing all nice. That's my speed. I think I could get into that, but no, I'm not getting out there when it's 30 below. No, you guys can have that.
Come on, man. We were down at ICAST. It was the Aquaview guys had their ice fishing. You can't even call it a shanty. It's like a condo. It's got giant screen TVs, fireplace, and stove, the whole 9 yards. I'm like, that looks kind of cool.
I think I could do that. I could do that. Right. When you see these guys with their augers out there and they're in the middle, like they're all bundled up in the middle of nowhere in the frozen tundra. Nah, dude. No.
I mean, the shanty thing, it's kind of like you're just like fishing in your living room.
Yeah.
Like you got a hole in the hardwood floor and you're just daubing.
Just hoping to get a bite. I'm full of that. If I could do that here in Tennessee, just in the wintertime, just, watch some NFL football, roll over off the couch and catch a perch or something every now and then, I'd do that.
Man, that people love it. People love it. Well, I've never done it either. So, maybe we'll do it together.
Yeah. Let's plan on it.
Yeah. We'll get some of that Arctic gear, but you've been, there's been so much going on, man. I saw a hostile interview with James Watson.
Hostile is a good word for that.
It was right. I mean, and I get it, man. So there's been some major decisions in this industry going down right now, and people are, it's hitting them sideways.
Well, I think they're the pros that are involved in that and are caught up in that. They're on edge for a reason, right? And I get that frustration. And James wanted to come on and he wanted to be no holds barred. So we sent it. And I asked him afterwards, I said, do you want me to like edit any of the language? And he goes, absolutely not. I said, okay, full send. And I get it though, man. They feel like they rode into battle, right? When everything's split. And I get where that emotion's coming from. And it's been a constant change. I feel like, and nothing stays the same in life, right? No matter what it is, whether it's fishing or just a regular business of any kind. Nothing tends to stay the same. So it's expected.
Yeah. A lot of the anglers are upset, and we talked with a lot of them. We had Dave Dudley on the show.
Yeah, saw that. Dudley turned loose. Yeah,
he turned loose but made a lot of good points. I mean, it was very, and he's one of the guys that's not on below the cut line. Like
that's right. He's secure, right? He's secure in his future. Yeah.
Yep. So it was interesting to hear his feedback, but his assessment a little bit of the powers that be over there and the fact that they have to make some business decisions. It was interesting to hear him recognize that. And we talked to Boy Duckett on the Ike Live show.
Yeah. On the Halloween episode. I still haven't got to see it.
Well, I mean, you got to, I give him so much credit for facing the fire. He knew
Low Budget Live.
He knew he was coming in to get some hot questions.
Oh, for sure.
Heard out him, and he even had a Halloween theme on his. And he's the guy, right? The buck stops with him. He's the guy that's got to make these hard decisions, and he went through some of those decisions that he had to make, and the guy that's. I mean, whether you're the president of the United States, president of a company, CEO, whatever it is, you are going to get heavily criticized,
of course,
no matter what you do, And I was impressed with his ability to come in and say, this is what we decided to do. And I want to hear your thoughts on it. His assessment of it was, and we've seen this before, where you remember when they did the E50s and they knocked the field down, right? Yep. The thought process is with a smaller field, those guys, they can connect with the audience better, and it will be better for the sport in the long term to have a smaller field. And that's the business decision, the long-term business strategy that they've made. and they're going down that road. They made that hard decision. He recognized how hard of a decision that was made because he knew how many people it was going to impact. But that's the decision that they made, is they feel like they're trying to do something better for the sport.
Yeah, I think that's certainly the overall message he's sending on that, I guess. But I lost you guys.
No, we're here. You're just full screen.
It scared me. Sorry, guys. I was getting into it, and then it was gone.
We felt like you were about to say something really important.
I need Pete's face in my life. I need Pete's face in my life. I miss Pete so much. No, I think that's the overall message. But for me, it's like, why not start with 50, right? Like if that's the long-term goal and that's where this tough decision had to go, well, why didn't you start with 50? Why did you drag 80 people into it? I also think that it's a shame for, I don't know, high school and college. Like we're putting a huge emphasis on that now. And I think when you dwindle it down to only a few spots at the top, and look, rightfully so, it should be very hard to be at the top of whatever sport it is. I get that. I completely understand that rationality. But at the same time, I think I question why not start with it, and why this seems to be kind of a sudden decision that was made with just a very select group and not the entire, overall angler group, because it was told to them multiple times that this is hey man, your voice matters and we're going to vote on this. It's like the format changed. They voted on it last year. They didn't tell them they were going back to every fish counts until their meeting. So I think there's a lot of confusing messaging there from Boyd. And look, again, he's the guy. He's really good at taking it on the chin. I will say that. Like he will stand in and take the punches and double down. He doesn't bend a lot. And I think a lot of times in business, you've got to be that guy. So he's certainly not afraid to stand his ground. But I do just feel for the guys. It was the same emotion, I guess, that I had when they bought the FLW Tour and they killed the Forest Wood Cup. That was such a cool tournament in our industry, and it had such a rich history over its time there, and so many good champions and so many stories. And now it's like I worry that 5 years from now we won't even bring up the term Forest Wood Cup and some of those monumental moments. I mean, they gave away $1 million in that tournament a couple times. Like that's crazy to think about. That future fishing fans may not ever even know it existed, and the importance of that event to me. So that was another one of those that just it's frustrating. Again, I understand that things change. And for me, I think a lot of times people are like, oh, he hates MLF, or, that's the overall, opinion of a lot of people at times. But really, I'm more for the anglers. And I think you guys understand that, because I was one. And I have so many dear friends, just like you guys do, that are involved in it, that I talk to on a daily basis. And so I see what they go through. I know how hard they work. And, and I just want them to have a chance.
Yeah, that's a really good assessment of it. And it's interesting that you said the word double down, and that's a great way to address how Boyd does handle that situation. Like, and that when we interviewed him, we got that, like, he did not make those decisions like willy nilly. You know what I mean? That group is knee deep in it, and they're trying to do something that is really, really good, and they're up against it, right? We know the industry, sponsorships are kind of at a premium right now, and it's a difficult time to do business right now. It
is
tough calls.
It's crazy to think about that, though, right? And we're coming off this 3-year COVID high almost in the industry, where I think companies made more money than they've ever made. I know a couple that I'm involved in certainly did, and now it's like, hey guys, times are tough. Sorry. It's a very interesting time. And I've heard that, personally in some of my podcast relationships and things, guys are like, it's times are getting tough. But I think we all should have known the bubble was going to burst at some point. But man, you got to think about record sales, whether it's boats in the last 3 years, motors, electronics, tackle. I mean, it's been an insane time in our industry for the last 3 years. And of course, we're seeing this economic slowdown a little bit here. But man, people got fat and happy. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, it was. I guess never thought the rain would stop falling, but
that's it. That's it.
And that's tough. And I get it, because I like you. I was one of those guys that's all I did. I mean, I still love fishing the tournaments, but the guys that make all their livelihood through that and the social media that they do in conjunction with the tournaments are, man, there's a lot of guys that are going to be displaced. And do they have a home at the NPFL? What's going on over there?
Well, there's a lot going on. Lots of moving.
There sure is. Good for the NPFL, man. They just kept fighting, and it's starting to click, it seems.
Hey, man, it's sometimes that black sheep will actually get into the right pasture. Not to sound like that sounds like a Gerald Swindle saying. I don't even know. But you enter in year 4, guys. We've been all about transparency, and it's damn sure been a roller coaster at times with the NPFL, and up until last year, not knowing, hey, are we going fishing? Are we not? Like, what are we doing? And to see that ownership group come together and make decisions to benefit the anglers, to see them make, all right, this plan that we rolled out's not working. What can we do to change it to ensure we're going to have a 2023 season like they did, which was the smallest field we've had, but it was the strongest field, I think, that we've ever fished in the 3 seasons. And to see them going into year 4 with, a ton of interest, a ton of new names to go with some of those 3-year NPFL pros, man, it's exciting. And I want to thank you guys because you've always, whether it's Ike Live or Bass U, you guys have always supported us and acknowledged that we exist. And sometimes the industry has not been kind at times, and so I'm proud to be rolling into year 4. That's for sure.
That's great. And we're glad to do it. I mean, there's a lot going on. Are you going to rename the winners trophy over there, the Patrick Walters trophy? Is that going to go on?
Man, what's crazy about that is Taylor Watkins, who, fished with us the first 2 years. Taylor won 3. He won 2 last year. And then he chose to go to in 22. He chose to go to the Opens in 23. And try his hand to try to make the elites and get a classic berth. And but he won 3, over 2 seasons. So Patrick's done that now. The scary part for me with Patrick is he narrowly missed winning 2 in the 2022 season and had his best friend Trent Palmer and 1 ounce not got in the way. He would have won 3 of the 5 he was in this year. It's and I see people saying, man, it's the Patrick Walters donation trail. And look, here's the thing. That guy has finished in the top 5 in the Bassmaster Elite Angler of the Year race in the last 5 seasons as well. He's got wins over there. I mean, he's a scary, scary dude. And I think it's time we start having conversations about where he is against the rest of the tournament anglers as far as like a ranking. You know what I mean? Because I feel like Patrick's name doesn't get brought up enough in the overall conversation of who's the greatest with a rod and reel right now from a competitive standpoint across professional angling. And dude, it's hard to argue. It's not him.
Yeah.
Really hard to argue.
It is. You're right. And I think it's just because he's so nice.
Well, now listen, don't be fooled by that. He is certainly, he's the Dale Earnhardt of bass fishing. That's what Fat Cat has named him because he's sneaky nice. He will still look at you and give you one of these as he's idling out. And if you're in second place, trust me, he likes to, we call him Dream Crusher over there. He loves crushing people's dreams and souls. He enjoys it.
That's funny. He's a killer, but he is so nice. And he's worked with us at Bass U for quite a while. We worked with him when he was brand new on, coming on and man, you're right. He has lit it up.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, he should be in that conversation with the Jacob Wheelers of the bunch.
1,000,000%. And you hear those names, right? You hear the Wheelers and you hear the Brian Thrifts over the years and different names. But dude, this kid, I mean, and he is a kid. He's not even 30 years old yet. Like let's grasp that. And where does this career end up long term? Dude, he gives me KVD vibes as far as like his energy on the final days. Cause I've joked all year. I've spent more time over his shoulder and talking to him than I have with my wife and kids. I feel like, cause he's just always on NPFL live with us. And man, when he has a gear on the final days that he hits, that's something to watch. And it does remind me of, and of course Wheeler as well, but it reminds me of Kevin, those old school Kevin, the game changer days when he would catch one and you're just like, yeah, this is a wrap. This is over with. He hits a gear that's very scary if you're a competitor, that's for sure.
Have you noticed anything with Patrick? Like if he gets going down like a certain pattern or a certain path like that, like forget about it. It's over. He's going to win.
I think it's an energy thing with him, more so than a pattern. And what I mean by that is when he starts making decisions that all click together on a final day. And I mean, like at Lanier, for example, it's early and he had a 1-pound lead over Will Harkins. And Harkins is a great local there, young pro. He caught a 6-12 spotted bass the first day.
Jeez.
20-pound bag to take the lead. He's a 20-year-old. He finished second in the Angler of the Year race this year. I mean, the kid's incredible. His first year with us, but Harkins knows Lanier well. He's a pound out. Everybody else is kind of, Patrick's distanced himself from everybody else a pretty good chunk. But the morning started slow for him, and he calls this audible, and he goes and skips a dock that he has not fished all week. And he says, as he's idling, I've been saving this all week. He goes in, pitches a brush pile, and he catches a big spot on a jig, flips it in the floor of the boat. The second it hits, he turns around, just smiles big. And it's like that moment, you're like, yeah, it's his. It's over. It was like that. That was... And he was catching 3 to 4 pound spots doing what he was doing, but it was like that fish just ignited something in him. He's like, I just made the right decision. Here we go. And we saw that at Watts Bar last year. He pulls up on a school. He was struggling, and he caught one good one. He didn't catch a bunch of them off this place, catches one good one. And then it was like every stop after that, he's just fishing with a different attitude, and he gets locked in, man. But there's just something to him. You watch a switch flip with him. But I mean, obviously he's very dangerous with forward-facing sonar. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of weight that gets put on that because Patrick's a really dangerous shallow water angler as well.
Yeah, I guess that is because he was like one of the first guys to win that way with
that's right.
So
he's kind of exposed things, right? Like Lake Fork, he exposed an entire deal that nobody knew about.
Yep. And he's proven over and over again he's proficient there, but he's doing amazing. He's winning at all wherever he goes. But we talked to and we titled the show is there a migration happening to the NPFL? I've heard rumors that some pretty big names are going to be swinging with you guys this year.
Yeah, we've got a nice stable incoming to go to to go into the field that we've already got that's super strong, because I don't want to take anything away from anybody that's fished with us for 3 years, because guys, we've exposed people like a Keith Carson to the bass fishing world, a Bryant Smith that's now, kicking butt over there on the Bassmaster Elite Series. David Gaston that's over there, made the classic as well, fished with us for 2 seasons. There are lots of names that are like a Will Harkins, a Todd Goat, our Angler of the Year. My goodness, you can't have a better season than Todd Goat had in professional fishing this year. But yeah, we've got some names, and I have been told I'm allowed to share some of these names today. Hopefully I didn't get bad information. And I'm going to get phone calls later. But so we got some Elite Series pros are going to mix it up with us, in addition to John Cox, who he announced on LBL this week. He's coming back again. Patrick Walters is of course coming back. I don't think you could run him off from the NPFL. He really enjoys it, and for more than the trophies that he wins, I think he likes the league. But we've got let me see. I got a cheat sheet here to make sure I remember these names. Drew Cook coming in hot. We got Wes Logan, got David Williams, Buddy Gross, Joseph Webster, and newly qualified Elite Pro is going to mix it up with us as well, Logan Parks.
Okay.
To the mix. So some guys that certainly know their way around a rod and reel. And I will say there are lots of.
Got a couple more too.
We do. We're here. So these are confirmed, right?
Yeah, okay.
I can't tell you this little device right here has been burning up for about the last month with several people that are kind of dipping their toe in the water and checking it out. It's a big commitment, right? Like there were a lot of, I'll just straight up, there were a ton of BPT guys in the week that followed that announcement that were like, well, I'm leaving and screw this, and we're coming to NPFL. But you got to look at, they got at least one more year guaranteed at BPT. It is a smaller field than NPFL. There's still positives in that world, right? It's hard to uproot your career and just start all over. Now, 2025, I think, will be the interesting year, even more interesting to see who tries to get in for sure, because we have a vibe, an overall vibe to me that feels like the FLW Tour days, the old FLW Tour. It's very reminiscent of that to me. Even Dudley said that year one. He's like, this feels like, early 2000s FLW. as far as the camaraderie and everything. So I think you'll be seeing even more names pay some attention in 2025 for sure.
So we got a question on our board from Howie Range, and I'm curious to this as well. Like with all the interest you guys are getting, and with all the new guys that want to come in, do you see the NPFL having to make a qualifying series?
That's definitely, I can tell you, that's a huge conversation all the time, and it really has been even before the first season. Right? It's something they wanted to do. They just want the timing to be right. I think it's got to be. And because it obviously takes resources to run something like that, you've got to make it worthwhile for people to spend their hard-earned money to come fish those qualifiers. And I think for me, and this is not a knock, but I think that to me, that was one of the mistakes the Bass Pro Tour made, is they didn't necessarily need that feeder system right away, and they bought FLW, and I think it put a lot more financial strain, business strain on having to take care of all that, and it took the focus off of just the BPT. So I think entering year 4, we're still climbing, man. We've still got a lot to figure out and iron out on our own, and then I think you'll definitely see something like that down the road, because we've had, the interest this year, we're talking almost 300 people have applied. Like it's very impressive to see the folks coming out.
Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, what does that process look like to for an angler that wanted to maybe go down that road? How do they get how do they get their foot in the door?
So on the website there, tnpfl.com, we have just an angler application page. And look, it doesn't matter if you are Joseph Webster or if you're Luke Duncan. You get on there, you fill out your information, you give a brief description, kind of your tournament history, you give your contact information, and look, we all know it's a very good position to be in, to be able to kind of hand pick essentially, but we do first come, first serve when it comes to actually the application process. And Brad Fuller himself, he'll call, reach out, he interviews them. It's a really neat process, to get in. And again, it's a good problem to have, but eventually I would like to see a qualifier like we talked about. I think that's the most fair way to do it once we're a couple more years into this deal.
I noticed there's some things that are changing with the streaming. Like what are your plans for next year? I saw where you can watch individual guys and watch their live stream, but what's the broadcast looking like, and what's that program all about?
So we that was a really cool thing they added this year through our production company, Fix TV. They have an app, Fix TV app. And so you could watch individual anglers on the first day. And it was just 3 bonus cameras. And you could click on who you wanted to watch basically through that platform. And that was an idea that Brad Fuller and crew had in year 1. When they came to my house to have an original meeting about me potentially going to work for him, that was an idea. His dream, big scale, is to have one on every angler in the field. That way you can click through. That would be an amazing revolution in coverage. Of course, that's it's not an easy task, but that's something that they would love to do one day. So we're doing that on day 1. And then day 2, you get, we have 5 camera ops in the boat, and then we have 3 bonus cams. So the top 8 in the standings on day 2, and then on Showdown Saturday, all have cameras. And then you get to hear myself and Fat Cat stumble horribly through our dialogue as these guys try to win $100,000.
Come on, you guys! Shout out to Fat Cat.
That's my boy right there.
Yeah, you guys are getting to be quite the broadcast team.
It's fun, man, because he was. I will say this about B. He was super nervous about coming in the studio, and at the end of 2021, there he filled in at the last event, and he never got out of the seat since. And man, he's he takes it like everybody, and you guys know Fat Cat on a personal level. He's loves to cut up, loves to joke, and he takes that job so serious, man. And he golly, his notes, everything. And he cares about our anglers, and he wants to provide them as much as he can through the broadcast. And we have a good time, man. We have to kind of keep ourselves in check, not get in trouble, I'll be honest, because he and I have a twisted sense of humor at times, but we're lucky. We're 3 years in, we haven't gotten fired, so I guess it's okay. We're lucky to have the bosses we do. I know that.
Yeah, the Wisconsin didn't know what hit him when you guys roll into town.
Buddy. Well, I tell you, that Home 2 suites up there that we stay in, they're like, oh boy, these guys again.
I love it. Well, looking forward to watching and seeing how it plays out this year. It's been a crazy year for fishing. I mean, forward-facing sonars on the chopping block, man. Everybody's winning tournaments with it. What's happening in the NPFLs? Did it dominate the events like it did everywhere else this year?
You know, I was actually when Riz reached out and he was like, "We're going to talk about winning techniques." I was kind of making some notes and thinking back over the year, and I was like, "Well, good thing it didn't dominate NPFL." And then I started looking. I was like, "Actually, it did dominate the NPFL." Because I love forward facing. I think it's cool, but I'm like, yeah, it did. It dominated NPFL for sure. Out of the 6 events. So I will say, live coverage wise, going back, we did figure out how to show in the last 2 events. Show you the anglers forward facing.
Yes, you did.
Picture, and it's really, I thought it was very educational for the fans. It was educational for me, man, watching these guys make adjustments based on how the fish are reacting. If you pay attention, you can learn a lot. And there are plans to we can only do a couple of those anglers in the top 8 at a time, and there are plans to expand that for sure in 2024 as well. Want to hit on that while we're on this forward facing topic, because everybody gets tired of this, right? Everybody's looking down.
Yeah.
But I'll say our anglers do a good job, though. I feel like breaking down, even when we can't show it, they really, we preach that to them, like, hey, talk to us, don't just get totally caught up in what you're doing. Try to explain what's going on. So shout out to the anglers for taking the time to do that.
I love the screenshots where you get to see, and it's all like, I'm of the opinion every offshore tournament always was like that. You know what I mean?
$1,000,000%. Yeah.
It's been that way for 20 years. Like, it hasn't changed. It's, the only difference, I don't know that there's any difference except for they're using the technology, but people are griping about it. And I think it's fascinating. I think it's shown us ways to catch fish that we could have never imagined.
It's fun.
And it's fun, yeah. And I think it has shown us that they live in areas we never realized, right? Like you guys are teachers. That's what you do at Bass U. You do a killer job with seminars and everything. And think about all the quote magazine speak and these ideas we had on bass behavior that with forward facing, we're like, actually, no, that's not what we do at all. I mean, who knew largemouth like to hang out around 50 feet of water, suspended over 50 feet of water under bait, like a pelagic smallmouth. Like, we only think spots and smallmouth, but we see it with big largemouth all the time now. That was never something that we would have known without forward facing.
I agree. And, there's so much, like we saw the elite on watching them chase the schools of smallmouth out 100 feet of water. And it changed. It's changed everything. I remember, like, we would fish that way, like for largemouth and smallmouth. And, when the fish would pull up on the point or the rock pile or the grass point, we would catch them.
Mm-hmm.
And we never knew what the heck they did, in between. And it has definitely exposed that. And to me, that makes it so interesting. One of the things that I find really interesting, and I remember talking about this just 2 years ago, is the bait categories and the ways that guys are altering baits to catch fish better. And I've seen it on the opens this year that, man, the guys are using it with big baits. Like, we think, like, we always think about the Japanese approach, right? The 4-pound test, the cube, the fuzzy cube, or whatever that crazy thing is, and those weird ways. But guys are using 3/4 ounce jigs, 3/4 ounce spinner baits, big glides with the forward facing to make it go.
It's interesting to see the techniques that are rising in that, right? And because everybody thinks the Demiki style stuff, and you do see a lot of that, obviously, like a jig head fluke style bait, but so many more options that we're starting to see. And I think about, you said spinnerbait. Patrick Walters at Santee Cooper this year in NPFL, he won there. It's his home lake. He's fishing brush, and a lot of his big ones came on a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait in brush. And it's something he would have done 10 years ago, right? To be fair, but forward facing makes him very efficient in knowing exactly where he needs to cast that spinnerbait. But yeah, we saw him catch several of his biggest ones on a spinnerbait there.
Yeah, see that? Spinnerbait still works.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
No doubt.
Heck yeah.
If you're watching this, it doesn't work and you should never throw it. Anyway, forget it. Get into all you kids and your video game fishing and you swim baits. Keep doing that.
Yeah.
Everybody, us old people.
I remember famously, and I don't mean to throw you under the bus, but Dudley came on and said, well, one of her seminars, when the chatterbait was red hot, he's like, I threw all my spinnerbaits away. And it was the deal, and it was the truth.
Yeah.
But I hope he threw them in a place where he could get them back.
In the back of the shop. Yeah. I hope he put them in the back of the shop. But we did. And I wanted to, you asked about techniques, and I do want to hit on, we started at Pickwick in the spring. Brandon Perkins wins there. That was a tail race current, kind of typical Tennessee River thing. Was really zero live scoping going on with anybody in the top 5. It was all current related, pre-spawn, smallmouth, and largemouth for the most part. Then we went to Wright Patman, and I don't think you can use live scope there. I'm sure somebody probably does at some point, but it's really, this is our second time in 3 years going there. It is chock full of shallow brush. It was a shallow brush dominated tournament, whether that be a frog, flipping, or Baron Adams, who ended up being disqualified for no fishing license. Sorry to rub salt in the wound again, Baron. Came back and won our championship, though. I mean, it made the championship. I will point that out. He fought through it, $100,000 mistake, but he was actually catching fish. It was amazing to me, skipping a wacky worm on 8-pound line in some of the gnarliest cover you've ever seen, going behind boats, and absolutely smashed them. Ryan Satterfield, who ended up being the eventual winner, he was a local there. He was frogging and flipping mainly to catch the weight there that ended up landing him the win after Barron was DQ'd. So those two throw out live scope. Then we go to Santee, the Patrick Walters show, Dream Crusher wins there. But Todd Goad gave him a run for his money, our eventual angler of the year. And Todd, he called himself Pawpaw that week. So Fat Cat and I, of course, dug into that and hung on to that for the rest of the year. But he was just throwing a Zoom old monster worm, going down the bank, visibly breaking down the cover as he went, and caught enough for second place there at Santee. So that new school versus old school, right? I mean, he had the tournament of his life there, and Patrick just edged him out just a little bit. Then we go Saginaw Bay, smallmouth for the most part, flatworm central, drop shots and live scope there. Trent Palmer wins. Lake Eufaula was offshore brush. Luis Fernandez and Will Harkins tied for the win. Are you catching on to the fact that we have insane storylines?
Yeah.
This year? It's crazy, man, when I think back on it. But Will and Lewis tied for the win on the last day. Lewis edged him out with the tiebreaker being the biggest bag of the event that he had. But it was live scoping brush piles and big flats with scattered stumps with a drop shot. And then Lanier was, again, the Patrick Walters show. And fluking and spooking and jerk baiting brush, those blueback heron, spotted bass there, a lot of forward facing sonar there. But I will say this was something that was very cool to see. Todd Goad, who ended up finishing third in the event, and then Will Harkins, who ended up finishing second. They were utilizing forward facing, but using old school techniques. And what I mean by that is Todd, almost every bass he weighed came on the old tried and true shaky head with a green pumpkin Zoom trick worm on it. It's been a million spotted bass caught on that over the years, but he was utilizing forward facing to see how they were setting up. Will Harkins was using a bomber long A on forward facing sonar.
What?
Will Harkins might want to kill me for saying that on Bass View. We showed it for 2 days and we kind of kept it low key what he was doing. But yeah, man, he was pulling up to his goods, shining out there, and he just slowly wound that bomber. Dude, that's what he caught that 612 spot on the first day. And it just, I mean, we saw him catch multiple 4-pound spots over the 2 days we covered him, and they absolutely would annihilate that thing. Now, it was high risk, high reward. He would get a lot of bites. He lost a lot of fish on it. If you've ever thrown a bomber that was around spots, that tends to happen. But you talk about a 20-year-old going very old school, mixing it with new school forward facing. It was awesome to watch. Made my heart proud.
Yeah, that's very cool. That's the bomber, the floating bomber,
Yes,
top
sir.
water strategy.
Yep. That little makes that little V coming across there. They can't stand. Yeah.
Yeah, I got exposed to that out there at Beaver Lake, right? The
Yes,
FLW
sir.
tournament that everybody was was firing those around. I just saw old KVD of the 1995 Thousand Islands tournament where he won on a bomber.
I
The
remember
first
that.
suspending bombers that were available. That's funny. That just came across my social feed the other day.
There's something about that deal though, that floater on Highland reservoirs, man, whether it's Smith Lake in Alabama, but those Table Rocks of the world, Beaver Lake, like you're talking about, there's something that they get dialed on that thing, man. And you can catch them on it when the water's in like the upper 40s. It's a really weird technique that does shine at times. And I'm lucky that I got to fish with a guy by the name of Wesley Strader, who was really good at it. And I learned, I got to see that from the back deck a lot in my FLW days. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Wesley's going to be featured real soon. He's on the bucket list for Bass University that we filmed on Lake Chickamauga.
Okay.
By the way, that's going to be released in a couple weeks, right, Justin?
Yep. It'll be on YouTube in 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks. We have the Lake Champlain up there right now. But I know you got some IM questions for Luke, Justin.
Yeah, I'm going to bring this one up here from Bass Geek. Does NPFL have a plan for a weekend angler division like the BFLs in the future?
Definitely in the conversation.
Sweet.
Definitely in the conversation. Shout out to Bass Geek. That's one of the hardest working men in bass fishing right there.
He's everywhere.
Geek.
I see him all over the place, man. He's doing it. Nice fella.
Yeah. Well, that's down the road. Like you had mentioned, we're going to have to eventually have a feeder system coming through. Has the NPFL ever considered like a high-end team tournament trail, like an Alabama Bass Trail, but nationwide?
Listen, buddy, you are absolutely speaking my language now. I think that is what it's missing in our sport, and now Boyd Duckett's probably going to do it. Now that you said it, we've had that conversation. We have. I think that would be the most intriguing thing. And I fished that ABT 100. Shout out to Kay and Alabama Bass Trail. And it's pros mixed with weekend anglers. It's such a good time. It's high entry fees, high payout for only 100 teams. And she does live coverage with that. But I think if you did that, can you imagine you got, KVD in the boat with whoever, Gerald Swindle, like, dude, fan interaction and something like that would be absolutely incredible. So they have talked about it, but like I said, I think for us entering year 4, it's keep the ball rolling with the league and see what happens after that.
Yeah. I don't think it's the right year to be rolling anything out.
No, that's for sure.
Yeah, but it's fun. We have a lot of people that watch. Of course, Epic Eric, one of our buddies, loves the big team tournaments. Is always talking about that, and I know a lot of us love it. I mean, you fish a team tournament every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, for what we have available to us on the bay, it's what you got to do.
Yeah.
If you want to make some money fishing, you got to be fishing team tournaments, and you better be catching them.
I said this on the show this week, though, after our last Trey Swindle, who's a terrible fisherman, by the way. And I try to carry the team, and it just didn't work this past week, and I'm sorry to all the fans out there that were disappointed that we threw our 3 keepers back at Smith Lake. But I said on the show this week, team tournaments are the heartbeat of this whole bass fishing deal. I know we get I spend hours and hours, just like you guys, talking to pros or talking about pro fishing in general, but the heartbeat of what makes this whole thing go around is really, it's your bass clubs, it's your fruit jar Tuesday night, or like that's where the fun's at. That's where that camaraderie resides, man. And every time I leave an Alabama Bass Trail, that's how I feel. I'm like rejuvenated about the sport because everybody, it's awesome, man. I mean, yeah, do you have people that get into it on the water? Absolutely. That's going to happen. Tensions get high at times, but man, just overall, like, it's just a good time. And it's truly the heartbeat of the industry.
I love, like, you're high-fiving your partner, like when you catch that fish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't wait to grab the net for my co-angler to catch one in a team tournament.
You kidding me? Yeah, I love
diving across the boat.
Yeah, or like me falling this weekend.
Oh my God, you ate it, man.
What happened?
I felt Riz hooked in the one, and I completely ate it, trying to run up to the front of
like
the boat.
Face plant, bit the steering wheel, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Commitment.
Yep. I had a bad cat logo implanted in my face after that.
It
was one of those days.
Yeah, it's high energy, man. I love it. You're digging for the net, you're scrambling, you get that fish, you're high-fiving, you're hugging, it's such a fun experience. And it's a lot different from, as it can be a little bit contentious when you have the boater non-boater situation.
Oh yeah, you're throwing daggers at each other when you're coming. That throws over your line and catches one. I don't care if Trey throws over me and catches one.
Yeah, right. You're rooting for him. Doggone it. A shout out to Goob.
Jonathan Collins, man. AOY.
What he
Eric Hicks.
Yeah, I just saw him get mentioned on social, and what did he won the AOY for?
Yeah, in the 100s, the Alabama Bass Trail 100s, and his partner, his father had some health problems pop up before the event, so he elected to stay home. So yeah, Jonathan Collins ends up fishing by himself, catches enough weight to win, and man, they had one hell of a year in that, and such a good dude, man. Such a good dude. And everybody around the fishing industry at one point or another, I feel like, encounters him. And he's been around forever. His dad, Skeeter Collins, a fantastic Alabama angler, called him for years and years and years. But yeah, he took the win home, and they got a awesome picture of him wearing one of the championship belts and one over his shoulder. He looked like he was just there to take all the hard work. Awesome, with his big terrorist beard that he has. It was awesome.
Yeah. He's changed his look. I love no-nose guys forever and ever. And,
good people, man.
Yeah, couldn't happen to a nicest guy. Check out Black Market.
Yeah, Black Market Fishing.
Yeah, that's some amazing things for sale over there that you won't see anywhere.
It's a fact. He has a unique business, that's for sure.
Yep, he sure does. And so like I do, I'm involved obviously heavy with Bass U, right? I love teaching's always been something that I'm very proud of and I love to do, and I'm super proud of this program and the new stuff that we're bringing out this year. But man, I love to fish. I've been doing the opens. This year, I think I'm going to do the Toyotas.
You heard it here, listeners. Don't let them back out.
We're gonna have a Bass U house. Me, Riz, Justin, and who knows who else. But we're gonna be going after the Toyotas this year. I mean, I say it like this: there's nothing that gets me to level 10 like when you're in that tournament. Trying to figure out the puzzle. I mean, I've always loved it. I always will love it, and I think I'm always going to do it. How about you? I know you were at the top level. What do you? I know you fish some buddy tournaments. What are your plans in the fishing game?
So, man, I've fished the Alabama Bass Trail 100s, like I said, with Trey Swindle the last couple of years, and I fished some local events with my kids. My 12-year-old Ryder and my 16-year-old Hudson they really love it. Nice. There are some cool little events that some friends of ours put on around here that we fish. Really, not on the Tennessee River. They're on smaller bodies of water, so it's better for the kids. And depending on the day, they'll allow me to be a captain and let them fish, or I can pair up with one of them if they've got a lot going on. My 16-year-old's just started driving, and he plays high school basketball, and he's chasing women. So my youngest is always the go-to. We actually have one of those this Saturday, as a matter of fact. But doing some of that. But man, like you said, Pete, like I love competing. I do. But I just love fishing, man. Like I just love to go, whether that's a Wednesday getting to go for 4 hours, whether that's preparing for a tournament. Now, the energy level that I get from a tournament blast off alone, like when they're calling your boat number, man, is unmatched. I love that. But unfortunately, I don't have the time to dedicate because I'm getting to do things like run my mouth for the NPFL. and I have something, I can't announce it today. We're announcing it next week, but another venture that I'm getting into, yet another job in the bass fishing world next week that I'm very excited about as well. So
wow.
And I'm fortunate, man, to get to do that, because if I can't be fishing, I'd rather be running my mouth about it like I get to, and I'm grateful for every opportunity I get. But I don't enjoy the opens as much. Sorry, Hank Weldon. Hank's my boy, but I don't enjoy that 225 boat just rodeo. I don't. That's not fun for me these days. I'm too old and cantankerous for that. But you know, I'm not real sure what all I'm going to fish next year. Announcement forthcoming. I'll say.
Oh, man, you're like Ike making an announcement that there's going to be an announcement.
I would get in trouble if I announced this one today on Bass U. I apologize.
Well, you be sure, and we'll be listening, but we'll be happy to. I look forward to hearing what it is.
Yeah, man.
Who knows? But I hear you about the 200 boat fields. The opens are challenging that way. For some of the bodies of water we go to, or it gobbles that field up pretty good. But certain lakes, oh my gosh, it's like you're on plan D after trying to find a place to fish.
That's why I have such an immense respect for those guys that make it. Especially this year, fishing all 9, getting in those spots, because dude, to be consistent against that kind of field, because talking to a guy like Scott Martin the year he made it, and he barely made it, fishing all of them. There's always going to be somebody where you want to go, depending on boat number.
Always.
There's always. So you constantly have to make adjustments. I don't care if you have 50 good locations. There's a chance there's going to be somebody on them. You have to get the timing right. You can't get mentally spun out if it's 11 o'clock and you don't have a fish, because you cannot have one bad day all season to make it in those 9. You look at the average finishes of those guys. So it's very impressive, the guys that can do that consistently. And they got a group of hammers coming their way next year in the Elite Series. That's for sure.
Man, JT Tompkins, shout out for winning. We've mentioned it before, but one of the most impressive things that I heard when we interviewed him was he put 700 hours on his motor this year. 700.
I can't wrap my mind around that, to be honest. Of course, no, that's the key to not being married, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a fact. You got to get your 16-year-old under control over there, Luke.
Yeah, that's right. Trust me, it's very difficult to do.
My son is 14. He's actually going to be fishing a team tournament this year.
That's cool, man.
Yeah, for the youth nation. So we're looking forward to. I thought he was going to be a video game guy for the rest of his life. So I'm super excited to see him get involved in the fishing game. I think it's great. I think it's amazing that they have all these great high school programs available to us.
No doubt about it. And I'll say this about the video game thing. So my youngest, and my oldest is as well. All my boys are video gamers. They love it. But that's what's cool about forward facing sonar is Ryder, my 12-year-old, he's obsessed with it. Like, he wants to get out there, and something else he's obsessed with that is expensive is he loves swim baits. Like, he goes down these YouTube rabbit holes about glides and bull shads and all, and that's all he wants to do. He doesn't care if you go all day long and don't get a bite. He's like,
wow,
that was cool. That was fun. Can we come back tomorrow? And you're like, well, we didn't catch one. You had like 3 follow it. And he's like, I don't care. Like, and when he does get a bite, he just gets all fired up. So I feel like that makes him dangerous, though, going into the future, if he can kind of take that buck. I mean, we went to Smith Lake a couple weeks ago, and he truly threw a glide bait for 8 hours and never had a bite.
Wow.
Staring at him on live with me, and I'm catching him on the fish head spin different. I'm like, buddy, just pick this up. He goes, no, I'm good. I'm good. I'm like, all right. But he loves it, man. But it's an expensive for dad to have to buy. We walk in a tackle store. He goes, can I have that Chad? No.
Yeah, dude. You gotta drop the college fund and start a swim bait fund.
No doubt. But it's very cool for me. They love Brandon Polnick's videos. They watch a lot of Brandon stuff. They go down YouTube rabbit holes all the time. So can we have that? Can we get that Storm glide because Brandon throws it? Thanks a lot, Brandon. Christmas gift to the Duncan household, please.
Well, hey, at least there's $1,000 glides out there.
Don't tell him. He's not watching this from school right now. I'm screwed. Those sound like they're better than the other ones, Dad.
You got to send them out cutting some lawns.
You better do something quick.
No kidding, man. Well, I look forward to hearing the announcement, Luke, and I appreciate you hanging out with us,
buddy. Thank you, guys.
And I really look forward to next season.
Yeah, man. Well, I appreciate all the support from you guys over the years. You guys are like family. And Pete, I do want to say this in closing. So I gave you a really hard time on social media when you fell out of the boat, just like. But I want to say that this year I joined you, and what I mean by that is I had a clip that I just posted from my GoPro. It was actually kind of a scary situation, but when I went back and edited it, it looked very funny. I fell out of the front of the Express with a jig, one of my own jigs that I can just, I have 500 of in the garage, and I went to get it. I lost a rod and reel, whole thing, but I go feet overhead in there. I dragged 4 rods with me, but this clip went viral on social media. And I feel like you and I are very similar in that out of everything we've ever done, nobody gives a damn about any of it, but you fall out of a boat, by God, you'll get shared 1 million times on the internet.
Dude, it's like, it doesn't matter. Whatever boat launch I am at across the country, they will tell me, Pete, careful, stay in the boat.
Yeah, dude. Listen, my 12-year-old he screenshot from the video me falling. That's my feet as I go in. That's his background on his stinking telephone. As I'm buying him swim baits. I don't know. That doesn't make me a very smart father, I think. But yeah, man, you and I, we've been into a lot of stuff over the years between Bass U, LBL, all the things. And it's the only thing anybody's ever cared about is me falling in the water.
We should have done this when we were in our 20s, man.
Dude, Bill Dance had it figured out. All you got to do is trip over a trailer hitch, knock the trolling motor off, fall backwards, millions of views. Yep. Famous.
That's it. So so you got to rig the boat next time we're filming, Rich.
Exactly.
Okay.
You and I both fall in on a video together, Pete. Internet gold. Synchronized.
Shoot. Here we go.
Let's do that. Maybe we'll come down and fish one of them Alabama bass trails.
Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, we'll come down and fall in together, man. Well, thanks again, man. It's
thanks,
always
boys.
great to hang out with you. And shout out to all the boys at the NPFL and Fat Cat and all the rest. And thanks again. And we look forward to watching this year and wishing you all the best, buddy.
All right. Thank you, guys. We'll see y'all soon.
See you, Luke.
Luke Duncan, everybody. It's a lot of stuff going on in the industry. Yep. Luke's always got his finger on the pulse.
Yep.
And it's interesting that forward-facing sonar just continued to dominate there as well.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's going to continue to be a major factor. But one of the interesting things that I picked up on, Luke said one of the keys to Patrick's day was going into that dock and catching one from a rush pile under the dock. Maybe he used forward-facing sonar to identify, where that exact cast was. But I don't really consider that to be an open water forward-facing sonar fish. And, you're still seeing those key fish and those difference makers coming from things other than just live scoping out in the middle of the lake. It's still going on. Guys are still catching 5-pounders out of laydowns. Guys are still catching big ones, frog and mats that you can't see. It's still going on. The forward-facing sonar is just an asset. It's just, another tool that we have to use to help us learn more about these bodies of water.
You still got to think.
Yeah.
You still got to adjust.
And you got to know how to use it.
You got to know how to use it. You got to know how to pull a rabbit out of a hat, like, when everything's going south, man. But, guys, we're going to give away some stuff. Last chance to like and share the feed on social. And we've got a grand prize. So we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be giving away some stuff.
Aquaview, the leader in underwater viewing technology. Find what you are looking for. Catch more fish. Have more fun. Aquaview. Seeing is believing.
Why do you love catching fishing rods?
I'm truly losing less fish.
Is the sensitivity of the rod.
That they're made right here in North Carolina in the USA. Strongest, lightest rod, 100% made here in Sanford, North Carolina.
From the drop shot rod to the flipping stick, every rod has a purpose to it, and I rely on them all the time when I'm out there in a tournament.
Durability in the John Cruz Worming series, the counterbalancing in the handle.
It's the only rod I found that can withstand my hook set. Boom goes the dynamite.
on the water not spent fishing is a moment wasted. That's why Minn Kota and Humminbird have joined forces to bring you the One Boat Network. Products that communicate and integrate to help you take full command of your boat. Born from our commitment to making the most advanced fishing gear even better by making it work together. The One Boat Network will help you find, get to, stay on, and catch more fish. When One Boat Network products talk to each other, they can navigate your boat automatically. They can give you a crystal clear view of what's below with no messy wires. And they can let you lower, raise, and change shallow water anchor modes from anywhere on the boat. But that's just the beginning. We're never done innovating, integrating, and making your boat simpler and easier to control. All so you can make every second on the water count.
Cortland Line Master Braid, America's premium super braided fishing line. Manufactured in our Cortland, New York facility and constructed from the highest quality Spectra fibers available. Cortland Line Company, made in America since 1915.
I have to have the best eyewear.
My eyes are essential to doing my job.
It's the highest quality lens that I've ever used.
Top of the line performance in these glasses.
But they're priced for absolutely everyone. The everyday angler can afford them.
As a touring professional pro, if I can depend on them, I know the weekend angler can as well. Hobie eyewear, built for the pros.
Priced for everyone.
We're back.
Welcome
All
back
right.
to Bash University Live, everybody. We got some gifts to give away.
Yep.
But first, we're gonna read this question. Do you have it on the IM? Is it on the chat board already?
No, it's not. Let me type it real quick.
All right, he's typing the grand prize question based on something that Luke Duncan talked about today. And guys, I want to invite you while he's getting that question in there. I know nobody's paying attention to me because they're all watching you type right now. But
It's in there.
it's in there. The question is up. But check it out. We've got some amazing holiday specials. If you have somebody who wants to learn how to fish, give them a ticket to a Bash U class. I promise you, it'll change them. It changed Ben Milliken. He came to see us in Dallas, Texas, 13 years ago. And now he's on his way to the elites, and we take full credit for everything. But it was great to have him as a student. Great to have him as a member of Bash U. Really looking forward to seeing him as a seminar speaker. But it's all available on bashu.tv and thebashuniversity.com for ticket classes. Do we have a winner yet?
So, I mean, Riz, what do you think about this? Like Dan named guys that were already doing it. We're talking about new guys coming over.
New guys.
And I think Chuck Fish would be the one that got it. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say Chuck Fish is probably the guy. I mean, Cox was already on.
So
Cox was already on
Walters.
there. Keith Carson's not an elite guy.
Your call, Riz.
Yeah, it's up to Riz. It's tough. Dan Allen's throwing a bunch of names, but
Dan, you're so good.
Yeah, I got to go Chuck Fish on this one because John Cox was already on there. So Chuck Fish, congrats.
Chuck,
You got it done this week.
send an
Dan,
email.
don't be discouraged. I'm sure
You'll
you
win-
will be
you'll
back
win
in the
again.
mix.
He's gonna win the rest of them.
Yeah, right. Now he's going to be mad. He's going to win for the
Yeah.
next 4 years.
Chuck,
This
send
might-
an
this-
email to the dean's office at thebashuniversity.com.
Might just be the thing that fires him up to win even more.
Yeah, and then our like and share winner. We're Casey Lynch, like and share winner. Same deal. Shoot an email to the dean's office. We'll take care of you over there. And can I roll into the sub of the week?
I was just
Sub of
gonna
the
mention, let's
week.
go.
All right.
Sub
Sub
of
of
the
the
week, of the
week.
week of the year.
Is
sub?
let's see here. Bring up that picture. It is Cody Westermeyer. It's his son, rocking the Bash U hat with the 6 shades. Love
Looking
it.
Good. Nice hold, nice.
It looks
fish
like
hole
he's.
technique.
It looks like he's right in the studio with us.
Yeah.
He's broadcasting the show.
He's
Hey, young
hanging
man,
out.
what's your take on it?
Where are these guys from, Justin?
I think Tennessee, I believe.
Well, that's
I could be
awesome.
wrong, but
You're looking sharp, young man. Keep at
pretty
it.
cool.
And I love to see it, man. I have pictures of when I would catch fish. I'd bring them home in my live well, so Jake could fish in my live well for him. He fell in love with it. Fell in love with fishing. It's good to see him out there doing it now. And thanks, guys, for watching. We're going to be back next week with another episode of Bash You Live. Did I write that down? Here you know what we just had the Toyota Series winner.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna
try to get him.
We're gonna hopefully have him available. We're gonna be talking about his winning patterns on the $300,000 tournament.
200K plus incentives.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty good payday.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go check out Bash University classes. Come out and see us. We've got some our speakers are going to be up soon, so check those out. We have a Bash U meetup that's going to be going on in Texas. Look for information about that, and we will see you next week on Bash University Live.